In this module, we're going to talk about using the imperative in Spanish. This basically means giving commands, such as give it to me, stop talking, pay attention, wait here. You'll see that there are two sides to this. We have positive commands where you are telling someone to do something, and negative commands where you are telling someone not to do something. So here we have it on the slide, positive and negative. Again, an example of a positive command would be sit down, but negative, don't sit down. Now, the positive ones are the easiest ones to do. So we're going to start with those. To form the imperative and give a positive command in Spanish, you simply drop the R. Here's what I mean. Let's take the verb esperar. So, having the full verb like that, what we do is simply drop this R, meaning that we get rid of it. And we're left with espera. Now, espera means wait. So this is where you are talking to someone directly. You want to give the command of wait. So you drop the R and simply say espera. Let's look at hablar. What we want to do is tell someone to talk or speak. So that's the command. Again, you would just drop the R and you get habla, which means speak. If we took llamar, it would be the same thing. So we get rid of the R, and now the command for call would be simply llama. We could go on and on. Let's take preguntar. It's very easy. Just drop the R, and pregunta means ask. Let's do one more. We'll take contestar. This means to answer. So if we wanted to give the command of answer, then you will drop this R and you get contesta. Now, as you'll see, most commands only make sense when you include or attach pronouns onto them. For example, we could take espera, which is the command for wait, and onto that we're going to tag the pronoun of me. So espérame would mean wait for me. How would you say wait for me here, please? Espérame aquí, por favor. Let's take the command for speak or talk, which is habla. Again, we could add on the pronoun of me, so we would get háblame. This would be talk to me, speak to me. Let's use it. How would you say, talk to me, I want to know what happened? Háblame, quiero saber lo que pasó. Another one we had was llama for call, but you could also take the pronoun of me and get the sound of llámame. This would be the command of call me, llámame. How would you say call me later? Llámame más tarde. Taking pregunta, which means or is the command for ask, and preguntar will take the pronoun of le. Okay, so it belongs to that group of verbs that will use le. So if we take pregunta and add on le, we get the sound of pregúntale. This would be the command for ask him or ask her. For example, how would you say ask her which one it is? Pregúntale cuál es. Now, you don't always have to add on a pronoun in order for commands to work, because earlier we saw how we could have espera, which means wait. Another one would be with contesta. Of course, you could say contéstame, which means answer me, but you could also use contesta on its own for the command of answer. For example, how would you say answer the phone, please? Contesta el teléfono, por favor. So here's what we have so far. We had a look at 5 verbs: esperar, hablar, llamar, preguntar, and contestar. Now, to get positive commands from all of these verbs, you simply drop the R. So here they've all gone into red. And when you drop the R, you get the sound of espera, habla, llama, pregunta, and contesta. Sometimes these will work just on their own. So here we have espera for wait, or contesta for answer. Answer something, answer the door, answer the phone, and so forth. But very often, these imperative sounds, meaning commands, we'll need the addition of pronouns in order to make full sense. Speaking of pronouns, you can of course also add on double pronouns. So here we have our set of mello, tello, noslo, and sello. Let's use one. So we could take the verb passar, which means to pass. How would you get the sound of pass? This would be pasa. So again, we did the same thing as before. We simply took the verb, dropped the R, and we get pasa, meaning pass. Now, just on its own, this sound isn't really that usable, but we could lengthen it to something like pass it to me. So here we have the it to me, which means we're going to have to tag on our double pronoun, mello. So we take pasa, the command pass, and we hook on or tag on the sound of mello. That would give us passamelo. Notice the accent here at the front. It has to be there. It must be passamelo, because if you said pasamelo, you wouldn't be understood, because that sound doesn't exist in Spanish. It must be passamelo. Pass it to me. How would you say pass it to him? Pásaselo. So here we have the celo, meaning it to him, it to her, even it to them. Pásaselo. What about this verb? Let's take enseñar, to teach. So taking that verb, how would you express teach, the command? Enseña. Once again, we simply dropped the R of the full verb. Enseña. Once again, we could extend that because the command of teach on its own isn't really that usable, but it could be extended into teach it to me. Teach it to me. So here we have the it to me. We're going to have the mello sound again, and this would give us enséñamelo. So here we have still the command sound of enseña, but we're tagging on the mello to the end of it. Enséñamelo. How would you say teach it to her? Enséñaselo. If we take a look at the verb dar, so here we have a very short verb, but once again, to get the command, we will simply drop the R. So the sound of da would mean give. That's the command give. Now we could say something like, give it to me now. So here we have again the it to me. How would you say that? Dámelo ahora. So here we have da, meaning give. Melo, it to me. Dámelo. What about this one? Mandar is another verb that will take double pronouns quite well. So mandar, to send. How would you say send? Manda. Now say send it to me. Mándamelo. Send it to me tomorrow, please. Mándamelo mañana, por favor. So as you can see, forming the imperative in Spanish so far is all about dropping the R and adding on whatever pronouns you need to it. Now remember, commands can be polite or rude. It all depends upon the tone of your voice. It's the tone of your voice that decides that. Because you could say, sit down, which is quite aggressive, but you could also say, sit down please, and I'll tell him you're here. So here we're both using the imperative, meaning we're giving commands, but one is aggressive and the other one is quite polite. So just because it's called the imperative or the tense for giving commands doesn't necessarily mean that you're being rude to people. It's all controlled by the tone of your voice. So far, we've been using only AR verbs. Let's switch now into ER verbs. The good news is that you will do exactly the same thing. You will drop the R. Let's take comer. So to give the command of eat, you simply get rid of the R and you get the sound of come. How would you say eat your food? Come tu comida. The verb prender is to turn on. So how would you say turn on? Give that command. Prende. Again, simply took the full verb, dropped the R, and get prende. How would you say turn on the light, please? Prende la luz, por favor. What about the verb correr, to run? So we want to express run, the command. How would you do it? Corre. Now say run faster. Corre más rápido. Even something like the verb creer, to believe. So how would you give the command believe? It would be cree. If you notice, it looks a little strange, but once again, all we did, we dropped the R, we get cree. Now we have the sound, the positive command, the imperative, believe. Now you might be wondering, well, how could I use that? Well, you could say something like, believe me, this is a command. How would you do it? Créeme. This might be useful if you're saying, believe me, it's the truth. Créeme, es la verdad. Another one that might surprise you is with the verb ser. Now, ser is to be. So we want the command, the sound for simply be. How would you do that? Se. So here we have ser, and then we will get rid of this R, and this E now will take an accent, because se could also mean I know, and other things, right? It can also be a pronoun too. So in order to give it that distinction, it will take this accent. So se, giving the command for be. Again, you might wonder, well, how could we use this? You could say, be a good person. So here you're giving someone a command. How would you say that? Sé una buena persona. Be a good girl. Sé una buena niña. Another similar verb that behaves in the way of creer would be leer. So this is the verb to read. Now, how would you give the command read? It would be ley. Again, all you did was drop the R and you got ley. This is the command for read. You could say something like read it. How would you say that? Léelo. Some of these verbs might appear a little exotic or feel strange at first touch. Just remember that you're dropping the R, and whatever sound you're left with, you add on pronouns to that. Finally, I'd like to look at IR verbs. Now here, we will also drop the R, but they will behave in the same way as ER verbs. For example, we could take abrir, to open. Now, if we dropped the R, we would get the sound of abri, but it doesn't quite work like that. They behave like ER verbs, so actually this I would transform into an E, so you would get abre. The sound of abre would be the command for open. So once again, you will drop the R, but when you're left with this I in IR verbs, it will change into an E. So abre, open. How would you say, open the window, please? Abre la ventana, por favor. How would you say, open them, meaning or referring to the windows? Ábrelas. Notice we kept that same imperative sound of abre and tagged on the pronoun. Ábrelas. What about open the door, please? Abre la puerta, por favor. Let's look at escribir. So here we have another IR verb. Now, once again, we will drop the R, but instead of saying escribi, this I will change to an E, and we get escribe. So escribe would be the command write. How would you say write it? Escríbelo. Write it down, please. Escríbelo, por favor. Notice here that we're not really using the word literally down. So write it down will be the same in Spanish. Escríbelo, por favor. Once you get that sound of escribe, it's easy then to tag on whatever pronoun you need. Let's summarize what we have so far. When giving positive commands, you simply drop the R. If they are AR verbs or ER verbs, well, it's very, very simple because nothing really changes. Hablar would go to habla, speak. Comer would go to come, eat. The only thing that you have to remember is that with IR verbs, you will again drop the R, but, so let's get rid of this R. The I that remains will change to an E. So it's behaving in the same way as an ER verb, and the sound would be escribe rather than escribi. Now once you have those sounds, just add on your pronouns. Let's go into a practice session now. I'll give you 37 verbs, and we'll try forming short phrases with these imperative sounds. How would you say, pass it to me, please? Pásamelo, por favor. Take it with you. Llévalo contigo. Call him tomorrow, please. Llámale mañana, por favor. Take one if you like. Toma uno si quieres. Look at them. Míralos. Wait for me. Espérame. Finish it first. Termínalo primero. Change your clothes. Cambia tu ropa. It's true, accept it. Es verdad, acéptalo. Ask him, he's over there. Pregúntale, está por ahí. Help me, please. Ayúdame, por favor. She's right, listen to her. Tiene razón, escúchala. Lift it up. Levántalo. Use it. Úsalo. Forget it, it's too late. Olvídalo, es demasiado tarde. Eat your food. Come tu comida. Decide. Decide. Buy it. Cómpralo. Go up. Sube. Prepare it for them now. Prepáralo para ellos ahora. Teach it to me. Enséñamelo. Sell it. Véndelo. Send it now. Mándalo ahora. Kill it. Mátalo. Put it inside. Mételo adentro. Take advantage of it. Aprovéchalo. Share with your sister. Comparte con tu hermana. Throw it away. Tíralo. Answer me. Contéstame. Turn off the light, please. Apaga la luz, por favor. Turn on the TV, please. Prende la tele, por favor. Bring it here. Tráelo aquí. Take it off. It's not yours. Quítalo. No es tuyo. I'll do it. Believe me. Lo haré. Créeme. Look for it. Búscalo. Take out the garbage, please. Saca la basura, por favor. So far, we've been looking at AR, ER, and IR verbs, but they've all been regular verbs. Now, as you know, in Spanish, something we have to deal with frequently are irregular verbs. And you will find irregular verbs sounds in the imperative in Spanish. What we'll do here is look at the 5 most common ones you will come across. The first of these is that hacer doesn't drop the R when it goes into the imperative. It will actually go to the sound of as. So if you wanted to say something like do it, here's the command, then you will take the sound of as, add on your pronoun of lo, and you get the sound of hazlo. Another one would be tener. So tener will go to the sound of ten in the imperative. You could say something like have it. So you would take ten, add on lo, and the sound is tenlo. A very similar one is also with venir, to come. This will go to ven. So you could give the command of come here. This would be ven aquí. Also, poner will go to pon, meaning put. For example, put it on the table. How would you say that? Ponlo en la mesa. Finally, decir will go to di. So if we wanted to say something like tell me, it would be dime. Now you hear this all the time in Spanish. Sometimes they'll extend it and say dímelo, tell it to me. How would you say tell me what happened? Dime qué pasó. Tell him what happened to you. Dile qué te pasó. Remember that decir takes the pronoun of le, so tell to him what happened to you. Dile qué te pasó. So let's put them all on one slide. This is the important slide to remember because you can see that we have these irregular sounds in the imperative. As, ten, ben, pon, and di. These to me are the 5 most common ones that you'll use. So, hazlo, do it. Tenlo, have it. Ven aquí, come here. Ponlo por allí, put it over there. Dime, tell me. Dile, tell him, tell her. Diles, tell them. The other thing that I would like to touch on is the idea of reflexive verbs because they will also work inside the imperative. For example, you could take quedarse, to stay, to remain one's self. So here you can see the se making it reflexive. Now you might want to say something like stay here. So here's the command. Now, fortunately, you will go through the same process as what we're used to. You strip back the verb, so you get rid of the reflexive part, and you end up with quedar. Now we're going to simply drop the R. So the sound is queda. This would be stay. But as we know, it's used reflexively in Spanish, this idea to remain oneself. So to that sound of queda, you would simply tag on the reflexive pronoun. So it would give you the sound of quédate or quédate aquí. Remain yourself here, stay here. Another one that's reflexive would be apurarse, to hurry. So you would take apurar, strip away the reflexive ending there, and drop the R. So now you have the sound of apura. Onto that sound, you will add on whatever reflexive pronoun you need. So if you were telling someone to hurry up, there's the command, it would be apúrate. Let's do one more example. We could have bañarse, which means to bathe oneself or to wash. So again, you would reduce the verb, get rid of this reflexive part, and drop the R again. So now you have the sound of baña. And onto that, you will add on the reflexive pronoun that you need. So to give the command of wash yourself, it would be bañate. In each example, you can see that the first thing we did was get rid of the se, because this is only indicating to us that the verb is used reflexively in Spanish. Then we go back to normal, so we would simply drop the R, baña, and then add on whatever reflexive pronoun you needed, me, te, se, and so forth. That's how you handle imperative sounds with reflexive verbs. Let's continue with part 3. Earlier, I told you that we have two sides to this. We have commands that are positive and commands that are negative. Now, negative commands are where you are telling someone not to do something. Now, the reason that this is trickier in Spanish is because you'll actually use the same sounds as the subjunctive. For example, I don't want you to wait for me. So here we have a trigger with I don't want, which means that we have to use the subjunctive sound in the verb to wait. And we will literally say, I don't want that you wait for me. How would you say that? No quiero que me esperes. So here we have esperes, which is the subjunctive sound. Switching over now into the imperative. So we could give a command of don't wait. Here it's not positive because we're not saying wait or wait for me. We're saying don't wait. So this is where you will have to use that same subjunctive sound. And it would be no esperes. How would you say don't wait for me? No me esperes. Let's put both sides on the one slide. So here the verb is esperar, and as you can see in the positive command, it's very easy because you just dropped the R and you got the sound of espera. However, that same command on the negative side, don't wait, is trickier because you have to find this subjunctive sound to do that. Let's take another example. We have, I want you to speak with him later. Again, we have our subjunctive trigger, meaning I want that you speak with him later. How would you say it? Quiero que hables con él más tarde. The sound of hables is the subjunctive. So if we wanted to give the negative command, meaning don't speak, don't talk, how would you say it? No hables. Don't speak with him later. No hables con él más tarde. Again, on the same slide, you can see that in the positive side, it's easy. Drop the R, habla, speak or talk. But in the negative command, don't speak or don't talk, you have to find that subjunctive sound. No hables. Now, for this reason, it's no accident that this module on the imperative is coming after we've already covered the present subjunctive, because you're using the same sounds. Let's do some more examples, and we'll take the verb hacer. Now, we could have, say, a phrase where we are required to use the subjunctive. I want you to do it. How would you say it? Quiero que lo hagas. I want that you do it. So hagas is obviously the subjunctive. Now we can use the same sound in the imperative. For example, don't do it. How would you say it? No lo hagas. Also, notice the pronoun placement or the difference between positive and negative commands. In negative commands, the pronoun is coming at the start here, so no lo hagas. Whereas in the positive command, do it, it's being tagged on to the end of the verb. That's also something important to remember. In negative commands, your pronouns will come up front at the start, whereas in positive commands, it's easier again because they're just being tagged on to the end. Let's try another one. I want you to go there. Quiero que vayas allí. Here we have the subjunctive for the verb ir, to go. vayas. Now let's use this same sound for the imperative. Don't go there. No vayas allí. The good news is that you don't really have to worry about irregular sounds when it comes to negative commands, because they will always take the same sound as the subjunctive. What I'd like to do now is run a drill. So I'm going to give you a series of short phrases, and you'll need to find the subjunctive sounds of the verbs in order to give the correct negative command or the imperative sound in Spanish. Let's try this one. How would you say, don't be rude? No seas grosero. So here we have the verb ser, but in the subjunctive because we're giving a negative command. No seas grosero. What about don't do it yet? No lo hagas todavía. Don't tell them where it is. No les digas dónde está. Don't go there. No vayas allí. Don't give it to her yet. No se lo des todavía. Don't put it there. No lo pongas allí. Don't believe everything they say. No creas todo lo que dicen. Don't come yet. No vengas todavía. Don't open the window. No abras la ventana. Don't touch anything inside the store. No toques nada dentro de la tienda. Don't go out. No salgas. Don't buy it yet. No lo compres todavía. Don't kill it. No lo mates. Don't eat that. No comas eso. Don't use it like that. No lo uses así. Don't call him again. No le llames otra vez. Don't wait for me. No me esperes. Don't look at them. No los mires. Don't take it out until we're ready. Be careful with this one. No los saques hasta que estemos listos. I told you to be careful with this because we have two places where we needed to use the subjunctive sound. First of all, don't take it out. So the verb is sacar, goes to no los saques. This is the subjunctive sound, but it's in the imperative. And then until, hasta que, this is a trigger for the subjunctive. So we are ready, instead of estamos listos, goes to estemos listos. No los saques hasta que estemos listos. Alright, in part 4 we're going to run a mixed drill with around 75 verbs. Some of them will be new to you. As always, remember that with positive commands it's easier because you simply drop the R, whereas on the negative side you will have to find the subjunctive sounds. Also with pronouns, on the positive side you'll simply add them on, whereas on the negative side they'll come up front. Those are the main key points to remember. And I think this drill will really give you a very good idea if you have successfully learned how to handle giving commands in Spanish. Here we go. How would you say, don't touch it? No lo toques. Lend me a pen. Préstame una pluma. Explain it to me again. Explícamelo otra vez. Don't wait here. No esperes aquí. Don't talk with her again. No hables con ella otra vez. Call me at 4 o'clock. Llámame a las 4. Ask them where it is. Pregúntales dónde está. Don't answer me like that. No me contestes así. Pass me the salt, please. Pásame la sal, por favor. Teach me how to do it. Enséñame cómo hacerlo. Give it to her. Dáselo. Send it tomorrow. Mándalo mañana. Don't eat that. No comas eso. Turn on the light, please. Prende la luz, por favor. Don't run inside the store. No corras dentro de la tienda. Don't believe what he says. No creas lo que dice. Be a good girl. Sé una buena niña. Open the window. Abre la ventana. Write something. Escribe algo. Don't take it with you. No lo lleves contigo. Let me go. Déjame ir. Call me later. Llámame más tarde. Take one. Toma uno. Look at them. Míralos. Finish your work. Termina tu trabajo. Don't change anything. No cambies nada. Accept it. It's the truth. Acéptalo. Es la verdad. Don't ask me that again. No me preguntes eso otra vez. Help her, please. Ayúdala, por favor. Listen to me. It's important. Escúchame. Es importante. Don't lift it. No lo levantes. Use it like this. Úsalo así. Don't forget it. No lo olvides. Buy one for your sister. Compra uno para tu hermana. Don't go up there. No te subas allí. Prepare yourself. Prepárate. Teach it to me. Enséñamelo. Sell it to me. Véndemelo. Don't send it to her yet. No se lo mandes todavía. Kill it. Mátalo. Don't put it like that. No lo pongas así. Take advantage of it. Aprovéchalo. Share with your brother. Comparte con tu hermano. Yes, throw it out. Sí, tíralo. Don't turn off the light. No apagues la luz. Bring it here. Tráelo aquí. Believe me. Créeme. Look for it. Búscalo. Don't take it out. No lo saques. Do it well. Hazlo bien. Have it. Tenlo. Come here. Ven aquí. Tell her yes. Dile que sí. Read it carefully. Léelo con atención. Dance with me. Baila conmigo. Stay here. Quédate aquí. Hurry up. Apúrate. Add it to the others. Agrégalo a los otros. Admit it, you're jealous. Admítelo, estás celoso. Don't accuse me. No me acuses. Hug me. Abrázame. Don't erase that, it's important. No borres eso, es importante. Enjoy it. Disfrútalo. Don't sign it. No lo firmes. Don't shout at him. No le grites. Ignore her. Ignórala. Don't cry. No llores. Don't hit me again. No me pegues otra vez. Don't break it, it's expensive. No lo rompas, es caro. Accept it. Acéptalo.